So, what say you? Shall we call on Alphino and go adventuring?
Okay. Alright, so far, I only barely started, and we're talking to one of the guys and Alphino about finding some sort of trove in a place that was supposed to have something to do with, the Mad King. So now we're asking people about him to try to learn more about this trove of legend. And I think this guy was supposed to have something to do a lot with him. Well, you shouldn't be late. Okay. I'll start reading the dialogue now. Since we're all here, why don't we share what we've learned? Allow me to begin then. As promised, I scoured the Imperial records for any mention of fantastic treasures, and found precisely none. It is just possible, I suppose, that a corrupt official deliberately hid the fact of the trove's discovery, hoping to enrich himself, but I find it rather unlikely that so valuable a find would stay secret for long. I conclude that our prize either does not exist, or that the Imperials somehow overlooked it. What of you, Biak? Were your investigations any more fruitful? Turned into monsters? And what could he mean by this darkness beneath the palace outlook? I met an old man in Alighieri who spoke of the palace's subterranean prison, but he has said naught of the cursed abominations. The Imperial archives were also silent on the subject of fiends inside the palace grounds. Could this scribe fellow have been spinning him a yarn, do you think? Did you believe in Biak? His fears seemed genuine. If he was afraid, that does not lend credence to the tale, though I'm not sure how this helps us in our search. Do not be so hasty. Arnold's anecdote may very well have told us where the trove is hidden, but ere I share my theory, there is a matter I would clarify. Arnvald, you spoke of light-hearted adventure, but I sense a deeper motive for this expedition. Why are you so intent on finding this treasure? It wasn't all pretense, I swear it, but you're right. My father was in the Imperial Army, a man of Garlean blood. I trust you know what I mean when I say that my Alamegan mother did not welcome my arrival. As I grew, she would check my brow over and over, convinced that a spot on my skin was an emerging third eye, like the kind you see in pure-blood Garleans. My mother did not care for this taunting reminder of my heritage, and took up a knife. War paint serves to cover the scar. In the end, she turned me out into the street, and I was left to haunt the alleyways of Alamigo, a feral child who got what he needed through begging, cunning, or worse. Alright, I'm back. The best I can say about the years that followed is that I survived, but I hated the animal I'd become. Eventually, I left the city behind me and joined a group of refugees bound for the other side of the wall. It was then that I turned to adventuring, and that road led me into the company of the Scions. I tell you this so that you understand. I know all too well what poverty and hunger can do to a person. I drew steel on ordinary folk for a measly crust of bread. With Theodoric's gold, I could spare my countrymen the shame of living like that. Thank you, Arnwald, and I apologize. That cannot have been pleasant to recall, but I felt it best to be clear of it in our intentions. Well, Beok, are you content to surrender the treasure to Arnwald's noble cause, and claim the thrill of adventure as your reward? Then I should be glad to tell you my theory on the resting place of the Mad King's trophy, if you are minded to hear it. Actually, mayhap it would be better if we first adjourned to a more suitable location. In case a rival treasure hunter overhears our plans, good thinking. That was not exactly the reason, but 'tis certainly a valid concern. Let us reconvene on the southern edge of Loch Sel. forgive me. 'Twas not my intention to draw out proceedings. I simply wished to have the lock in sight while I explained things. Prior to the great flood of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, the salt lakes you see here were the sea before you were yet dry ravines. And this, believe it or not, was the site of the ancient city of Scala, which rose and fell during the Fifth Astral Era. From what we know of the period, the city was already deserted by the time the waters began to rise, having been all but destroyed by war. Yet its ruins remain to this day at the bottom of Loch Seld. It is my belief that the darkness beneath the palace, mentioned by Theodoric's former scribe, was not a reference to the prison, but to a place still further below, the ruins of Scala. I further surmise that the Mad King's unfortunate kinsmen were cast down there not simply out of a desire to punish them, but to discourage exploration. Theodoric wanted to keep the ruins secure. Wait, you're saying they were meant to guard the Mad King's trove? Precisely. And since we know the court thaumaturge was involved, we can safely assume that any entrance into the old city will have been magically concealed. Which would explain how a legion of Imperial soldiers and gods know how many Alamegans never found a trace of the trove. We, however, have certain advantages which they did not enjoy. Beok, would you be so good as to swim down to the bottom of the loch and search for an underwater route to the ruins? While you do that, Arnvald and I will seek out an ensorcelled portal within the palace. You two stay dry now. That's why I'm streaming it for you. So that you can at least experience some of it. We discover a passage that appears to lead under the palace foundations. Press on and find out where it goes. Come to a worn stone door standing temptingly ajar. It would appear you have found an entrance to the subterranean ruins. Bound and determined to make me play again. Beok, it's Alphino. We've searched the prison beneath the palace and found the door concealed by enchantments. Have you aught to report? And you believe it leads to the ruins? Excellent. Then I propose we proceed from our respective entry points and look to meet somewhere in the middle. Oh, come on, lads. We might as well make it a race. Victory goes to the first adventurer to find the treasure. Godspeed! The drowned city of Scala now accessible. everybody's either AFK or in a dungeon. Oh, that's cool. Only Karen is, but he's in a dungeon. That's cool. So like all the old friends that moved to different servers that were on my friends list can now be on my friends list again, since they added the cross-server friends list. But if they're in a different data center like Mordecai, it'll still say unknown, because it's only cross data center. And if they truly actually deleted their character, they won't reappear. Alright, I'm going into the drowned city of Scala. YouTube it'll archive it, so even though you're not watching, you can watch it later.
Oh, bugger it.
Are you all right?
Aye. Everything's still attached.
Ah, it seems both our paths led here. Very good. We spent altogether too much time fleeing fiends horrid and numerous. How fared you? Much the same, then. 'Twould appear this place is yet inhabited by King Theodoric's kin, or what is left of them. The work of terrible magics, I fear.
Terrible, aye. But their misfortune is our fortune?
Quite. By the 12, there is even more than I imagined.
Oh, I can't wait to see the look on Lisa's face. Thanks for believing in me, you two.
Orenvald and I forged ahead at the fastest pace we could manage, but I was not surprised to find you waiting for us. I suppose it serves us right for challenging a warrior of light. Next time, we should agree on some manner of handicap. We may have lost Alphino, but think of what we found. Twice, I'm still reeling at the side of that mountain of riches. Well, like how you reeled at the side of that floating specter, you mean? You should have heard him scream, Balak. Must we dwell on such momentary lapses? We found the Mad King's trove, and that's all that matters. All jesting aside, we must tell people the good news. I think Lee should be the first. Seconded. There is to be a meeting of representatives from across Alamigo, so she is sure to be in the city. Shall we seek her out? I'm not even sure if that's free anymore. I'd have to make sure I do some scouting out too before we do anything. As long as we get that house in Shirogane, I don't give a shit. Oh, you three look pleased with yourselves. What have you been up to? I'm glad you asked this. And I'm pretty sure you're going to like the answer. You're joking. The Mad King's trove? I thought it was a myth. So did plenty of people, but they didn't have Biak and Alphino in their party. The credit for finding it should really go to them. As for what to do with it all, I put that it goes towards to alleviating the suffering of Alamigo's poor. What if there's as much as you say? I'm sure you are. You'll be back. Arnvold did not exaggerate, I assure you. We could not hope to carry even a fraction of it on our own. I've taken the liberty of sketching out a rough map of the ruins. If you'll assemble a squad of your most trusted freedom fighters, they should be able to follow the route to where the treasure lies. Understood. I'll make sure every coin is accounted for, and that it goes for the spending, and that goes for the spending of it as well. Thank you. Oh, there's one other thing. When it comes to draw up a plan for distributing the spoils, I would ask that you consult Alphino. I don't have a head for details. I'm not educated. I see that simply handing out sacks of gil won't solve anything. But I couldn't rightly tell you what to do instead. Sleeping, working, and Final Fantasy IX, you'll still find time to play. Oh, I know the feeling. I'd welcome any advice you could give us, Alphino. Of course, I shall be at your disposal. Commander, we've got a problem. Deep breaths. Tell me what's happened. A mob's gathered outside headquarters, and they've started making demands. You'd best come and see for yourself.
Step back, all of you!
Like hells we will! We know who you've got in there!
We're not leaving till you hand her over!
It's probably Fordola.
Bring her out! Bring her out!
What's going on? Someone let slip about Fordola.
It's true then! The bitch really is in there! I knew it! I bloody knew it! We demand vengeance! Bring her out! Today we butcher the butcher!
This dude is ugly. They gave him the wrong haircut.
Come on, you don't mean that! We'd be no better than the Imperials if you'd all just calm down! Calm down! That monster and her thrice damned skulls dragged my man from our home and beat him to death in the street!
Aye! And my dad! That bitch has spilt enough blood to fill a lock!
We all know her crimes. She's a traitor and a murderer. How many of your resistance friends have died at her hands, eh? And here you are, protecting her!
So that's what all the fuss is about. Hearken to me, brothers and sisters of Alamigo.
Hey, who's this?
That's the Bull of Alamigo.
My friends, you are not alone in your anger, your grief, your despair, for it is mine as well. That gnawing pain in your breast, it is enough to bring an old bull to his knees. But I ask you, brothers and sisters, to think not only of the family and friends who were cut down before your very eyes, but to think also of the ones who were abducted, the ones who may yet live.
You know, I really want to point out that NPC in the middle in the red apron looks exactly like Fordola. With only like slight differences, but the hair, even the face looks similar. Of course, Ralph Vaughn silences the crowd. He's got more of a reputation than Lise does. Everybody recognizes Ralph Vaughn.
Where were they taken? What became of them? These questions demand answers. I share your thirst for justice, for vengeance.
Oh, and I have good news. Fenris is online, and he said that Essarosa has come home now. She'll be back on Final Fantasy very soon. I'm sorry, I wouldn't be quiet because should be slaughtered.
But we will gain only fleeting satisfaction if we give in to our base appetites. We will never know the truth. Now is the time that we, the people of Alamigo, must decide what manner of nation we will build for ourselves, and for generations yet unborn. When they look to our example, will they see a people who held fast to their principles, or one who cast them aside when tried? I say to you, it is our responsibility to give these prisoners a fair trial, that they might answer to all of Alamigo. The Garleans called us savages, And I'll be damned if we prove them right.
I know you're right, I do, but I can't.
Sabin got lucky, he got his house. My things rub on. Listening to their anger, I can feel myself being swept away. 'Tis a difficult tide to stem. 'Twas that same rage which brought us to our feet and carried us to victory. But now the war is over, and all the unspent fury is being channeled into vengeance. Aye, and it's not just here. There's reports of mobs forming all over. They've been targeting folk known to have cooperated with the Garlands. It starts with insults most often, and then someone picks up a stone. Some industrious soul even sought to seek out the graves of Xenos and his officers. It was grim. I want to build a country where everyone, regardless of race or origin, can live side by side in peace. But maybe the time isn't right. Maybe people just aren't ready. I'm not going to try. The rest players will be here. Soon I'll be down if I'm going to give up before I even hit the gun. Who are these representatives exactly? Village elders, refugee leaders, and the like. It wouldn't be right for us to dictate the nation's future on our own, so we've planned a summit of sorts. We've even invited the Ananta and the Quaker to participate. All Amigo stands at a crossroads. And this meeting will decide which path it takes. The matter of foregoing sentence cannot be suffered to disrupt the proceedings. Let's execute her and be done with it. She herself has to be put to death. No, I already explained why we couldn't do that. Sending her to the gallows might satisfy people right now, but where would it end? Should we round up everyone who collaborated and everyone who did resist? There would be no one left. think we'd be no better than Theodoric was in Xenos. Begging your pardon, but might I be allowed to speak with Ferdola? Only I caught a glimpse of her past. A moment of it, anyway, during the fight. She's done terrible things, unforgivable things. But in some ways, she's a victim of the circumstances in which she was born. And that's something I can understand. Alright, you speak with the prison guard. Speak with the prison guard when you're ready, and I'll come join you. I want to talk to her too. I'll return to my other duties now. We've barely begun to investigate the facility. Lily gave Ferdola the powers. Be fairly warned, friends. She will test you, but don't let her emotions color your judgment when she does.
Well, well, well. So many visitors. Come to have a good laugh, have you? Or do you mean to put me out of my misery? To finish what you started? It's about bloody time.
That's not why we're here, no. Do you remember what I said? How I promised you you'd live long enough to see us win our freedom? Well, I meant it. And not to mock you either.
You're wasting your time. All of this is pointless! There's no reason to keep me alive, and you know it! I killed your men. I killed my men! And you know what my only regret is? That I didn't kill you when I had the chance!
That's a lie, and you know it! You think we can't tell what you're trying to do? That we're blind? Yeah, you're a fool, but you're not stupid. You're ruthless. Relentless. You'd give up anything and everything to get what you want. You didn't come this far, climbing over the bodies of your own brothers and sisters just to piss it all away. I see you, Ferdola. I see you for what you are.
Fadola, we mustn't be late. The Imperial Viceroy will be attending today's banquet.
All right. Father, what's Lord Gaius like? Is he nice? Are you friends?
There you go again with all your questions. Lord Gaius is a great and honourable man who looks after all of Alamigo. He's very busy, and if we don't hurry, we'll miss our chance to see him.
Filthy tin-head lovers.
Father, what did that man call us?
The little tin-head lover doesn't know what she is, eh? A traitor, sweetheart. A backstabbing bitch who'd gladly betray her kith and kin to gnaw on what few scraps the Imperials deign to toss her. Like your bastard father and whore mother.
That's not true! My parents are good people! They've never done anything like that!
Oh, but they were quick to help themselves and their bitch spawn, weren't they? You're just as guilty as them.
Fadola!
Traitors!
Please, you have to do something! My husband and daughter are in danger!
Soldiers of the Imperial Army are under no obligation to intervene in the disputes of army.
We're citizens! We have rights!
I'm scared.
It's all right. It's all right. They don't understand, but they'll see in time. They'll see that this is the only way to survive. Traitors! Traitors!
Let the savages have their fun. They'll be more compliant once they've tired themselves out.
Fadola, please! You already have citizenship. Why would you want to become a soldier? Oh, gods! What have you done to your face?
Forgotten it already, have you? I'm honouring Father's memory.
By telling the world that you know better than a common savage.
Am I though, Mother? Are any of us? Can't you see? Citizenship means nothing to them. If you're not a pure-blood Garlean, you're no different from any other savage. So I'll play the part. I'll join the Legion and I'll make them respect me. And when the mob see that, they'll think twice before throwing their stones. Ansfrid, Rudolph, Emlyn. It's time. It'll be hard. Humiliating. They'll try to break us. Send us crawling back to our own kind. But we won't, no matter what. We'll bleed for them, die for them if we have to. We'll do whatever it takes to be free!
So, you mean to play the part one last time, eh? The unrepentant traitor whose death will serve to unite the people?
Shut up.
You had every chance to kill yourself. Fashion a noose from your clothes, wait for the guards to leave you alone long enough to slip it over your neck.
I said shut up!
Oh, but then it would have all been for nothing, wouldn't it? Whatever it takes. That's what you said.
Been in my head, have you? Had a little peek at my past? And what? A few stolen memories tell you everything you need to know, do they? Don't you dare patronize me! You don't know a god's damned thing about the life I've led! The bastards that killed him. The bastards that let it happen. My father deserved better! I swore I'd do whatever it took to make them pay! You. All that power. All that pain. It's too much. Too much for anyone. The things they've done to you. The lies. The betrayal. The endless fighting. Yet there you stand. Unbroken. How? Why? Damn you. Damn you all.
You still have time, Fordola. Think about how you want to spend it. Let's go.